This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. Delighted to be joined by Gareth A Davies over Zoom. Gareth, no messing about this morning. I've got to get up to the Ben Eubank presser. You've got radio commitments, but yeah, how are you? Tired from Riyadh?
Yeah, a little bit fatigued, but a day back now. It was a complete blur the last couple of days. You know what it's like. Happy to be home, but it was a delight to be there, an absolute honour and a privilege to be there at that event, the Last Crescendo.
Yeah, we'll run just straight through the card. Open it with Callum Smith's win over Joshua Buatsi. I think for me, apart from the main event fight of the night, just excellent, wasn't it?
It was absolutely incredible, topping and tailing with the two light heavyweight fights. Yeah, it was a brilliant contest, seesawing back and forth contest in which both men gave everything. I think it's Callum Smith's finest performance. Um, he created angles. He showed real skill and heart and determination. The whole all the kind of catalogue of things that made him a champion all those years ago at the number one in the super middleweight division. And equally, Joshua Buatsi, the biggest test of his career, the first defeat of his career. And, you know, I thought Smith deserved it, even though I found it a very, very close fight.
Who would you like to see Callum fight next? If it isn't Dimitri Bivol, which it looks like it won't be.
Well, it could be Joshua Buatsi.
Okay.
It could be David Benavidez. Um, I think Turkey Al Sheikh's already said he'd like him to fight Anthony Yard next. Um, but Callum Smith has easily earned himself a big fight with either Anthony Yard or David Benavidez. But I think a lot of us would like to see Anthony Yard against Joshua Buatsi as well. So they're all viable. And we'll come to the trilogy in a moment, but sets himself up nicely, probably for one or two more fights, and maybe even a fight with Bivol if Bivol wins the trilogy.
Definitely. Zhang Kabayel, Gareth. Yeah, mad.
Absolutely mad, brilliant body attacks, body assaults from Kabayel, breaking the big Chinese man down. Got his tactics spot on. Another brilliant performance by him, and if you mark the card that he's produced all in Riyadh season. Arslanbek Makhmudov, brilliant performance to stop him. Body shots really hurt him. Frank Sanchez got him out of the way, marked his card, and now Zhile Zhang. And I think I'd put him at probably number five in the world, Kabayel, right now. If you've got Usyk, Fury, Dubois, Parker, and then Kabayel.
I think obviously that was a WBC eliminator. Do you see him fighting Alexander Usyk, or will it be a vacant green and gold belt?
What, down the line, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't see him fighting Alexander Usyk, but I may be wrong on that. It's not a matchup that screams at you at the moment, but what it does, he's taken over the mantle of what ought to be the most avoided man in the division, the nobody wants me club in the top 10. I don't see it for a world title right now. Um, and we'll talk around that when we talk about Parker and Bakole and Dubois, but I don't see it.
Certainly, and for me, one of the best performances on the card was Virgil Ortiz Jr. dismantling Israel Majimov, who kind of looked solid, top class against Terence Crawford, and he done better than Terence did. Would you say?
Well, he took it to him, didn't he? He was the predator, and they stalked Madrimov almost the whole time during the fight. Not saying Madrimov wasn't skillful and elusive, and people enjoyed the skill set he was producing. Yet Ortiz was that much bigger. He looked in there, stronger, um, and didn't get frustrated during the contest. Allowed himself to work. I think Madrimov had some amazing rounds when he brought it on, but when he did bring it on, Ortiz was better and up to the task. So he's got that incredible record for a reason, Virgil Ortiz, and he walks around with the confidence as well of a man who can stop everyone if he really has to. Terrific guy. I think he'll take over the division. I think he's the number one in the division. There's no question about it. And it was a fine performance.
Now to, in many people's eyes, the first controversy of the night. Hamza Shiraz's draw against Carlos Adames for that WBC middleweight world title. Yeah, Gareth, first of all, how did you score that?
I scored it 8 rounds to 4 or 9 rounds to 3 to Carlos Adames. I thought Hamza Shiraz didn't win the fight, but the boxing gods were smiling on him on the night. I know that he damaged the hand. We found that out retrospectively. He needed to come out and throw his hands a bit more, which he did towards the end. But it was a tough watch in lots of ways because it wasn't the Hamza we're used to. He's very subdued, and they're taking nothing away from Carlos Adames. But like I say, I mean, the best way to put it is that the boxing gods were smiling on him, and he got a draw, and he didn't lose his winning streak. But for most people there, even though Carlos Adames didn't beat him up and didn't dominate him, he did the better work in most of the rounds. And he made himself a small target. He was very elusive, and he came in and out very well. And Hamza circled a lot like that. That's your overriding memory from the bouts. He obviously showed great heart to stay in there with that broken right hand. But they'll have to go back to the drawing board and see where they go next with him.
Do you think we will see a rematch, or do you think they'll go down a different route?
It wouldn't surprise me to see a rematch. It's a drawn fight on paper. But he's going to have to up his work rate and let his hands go in the second fight and step forward more into the centre of the ring, because Adames' footwork allowed him to control most of the bout, certainly in terms of movement. It wouldn't surprise me to see a rematch.
Josh Padley lasted 9 rounds with Shakur Stevenson, a cult hero of world boxing right now.
Yeah, the Sparky's favourite. Yeah. That every electrician in the land will be raising a screwdriver to Josh Padley this morning. He put it all in there. He left it all in the ring, in spite of being knocked down 3 times from body shots in the last round, in that 9th round. He lost, but he was a winner, and Shakur won and was a loser. Certainly with the fans in the arena, Shakur was booed. Josh Padley was raised on the shoulders of giants, if you like. After his performance, he gave as good as he got. Gave it his all. Got reportedly $500,000 and a new house that he can wire himself if he has to. But it was he was. This is what, like you said, the conquering hero, or the non-conquering hero, who became a cult figure. He's one of the names that'll be remembered on the card. I mean, let's not forget. I think in 2 of the sanctioning bodies, he's very highly ranked anyway. Victory over Mark Chamberlain at Wembley Stadium in September. He did the same thing. He showed guts and verve in there, and it just shows that you can do major things at the moment, and if you're ready to go into battle. And he was ready to go over there. He stayed fit. He said his body wasn't toned up enough, that conditioned enough, that he'd like it to have been. He'd like to have had 6 more weeks, of course, but he did it on 96 hours notice. Some poor buggers still got their solar panels not fitted in Doncaster right now. As a result, he's probably there this morning doing it. But apart from that, Shakur is developing that almost relationship with the fans that Floyd Mayweather had at one time, where people used to say that Floyd didn't punch hard enough, he didn't attack his opponents enough. And Shakur's got to look after his hands. But we're hard on Shakur, but right now, and he's fighting this weekend, Gervonta Davis against Lamont Roach, and I think he wins that significantly. it's going to be hard for Roach coming up a weight division against him, both WBA champions. I think right now you've got to say Gervonta's the favourite against Shakur Stevenson if you use Josh Padley as the yardstick.
Right, heavyweight time again, Gareth. Joseph Parker stopped Martin Bakole in 2 rounds. Yeah, look, a lot of people have had their say on it, whether they thought Martin Bakole should have been in there or not. Yeah, what's your take on this?
Yeah, well, Martin Bakole saved the show in many ways by going to Saudi Arabia via Ethiopia from Congo, arriving there in the early hours of Saturday morning and even doing some media work when he arrived. He did look really out of shape. He didn't look match sharp. Parker did. We still worried how dangerous Bakole was from that first round because you were looking at his cuffing shots that he was bringing with him. Parker did what he needed to do in the second round, get Bakole out of there. Bakole probably only had 3 or 4 rounds in him anyway and was going to come and bring everything. Look, Bakole will have earned a hefty sum. I know for a fact he did. Spoke to Billy Nelson on the way home. He was in the airport with us. He did the right thing, pulling his man out when his legs went from underneath him early in the second. My understanding is he still fights Efe Ajegba in May, but it might be a change of venue, I'm hearing. And I don't think it'll be for the Eliminator, but it doesn't matter when he's got a full camp under him. And some people will say that the myth will have been a myth will have been exploited that he's not the most dangerous man in the division. He's still a very dangerous fighter. Bakole's fit; he can take on anyone, and he will be fit for May. As for Joseph Parker, he's the nearly man again. You know, he's not fighting for a world title. It looks likely that Alexander Usyk, who I spoke to ringside, will fight Daniel Dubois next. That's not absolutely confirmed, Joe, but it looks like that's logical that those two will fight next. And as a result, who does Joseph Parker fight? Does he fight the winner of Joe Joyce and Dillian White? Does he wait around for the winner of Dubois and Usyk? Knowing Joe, I think he'll be active. Does he fight Ajit Kabayel even? That's a really tough fight. So there's options there for him. Ajit Kabayel and Joseph Parker, as we all know, are both with Gold Star, with Spencer Brown. So he might not want to throw one of his soldiers against another one of his soldiers. So we shall see on that one. But overall, it was two very interesting heavyweight fights. I think Bakole did the right thing by taking the fight.
Okay, Gareth, just to finish this off, yeah, one of the great light heavyweight fights, certainly of this generation, most probably of all time. They ran it back. It was better than the first fight, and Bivol overturned the decision and got his win against Artur Beterbiev. Take it away.
Yeah, it was still a very close fight. You could score it either way if you really wanted to. I mean, I edged it to Beterbiev this time, but I'm not surprised that. But yeah, just by a round. I'm not surprised that it went to Bivol as well, who came on strong in 7, 8, 9. He changed the pattern of the fight, which is what great sports people, great fighters do. They change the pattern of an event, and he came back really strong. Those 1-2s, then 3-4s, then 5-6, and to the body. It was a terrific matchup. I thought we started to see Beterbiev be 40 years old during that fight. We saw the wear and tear on his face in the corner at times. We saw that there wasn't the same level of bullying that he was capable of doing in the first fight. It was a tremendous fight. When you think they've gone 24 rounds, neither of them's gone down. They've given their all in the ring. They haven't showed a moment of pain on each other's faces, on either face. It's quite incredible. And I've got what I want, which is a trilogy. I'm sure every fan has got what they want with these two going at it again. They'll probably give them 7 or 8 months rest. I imagine they won't fight till September, October. That will have taken a lot out of both men. Delighted for Bivol that he's got the rubber match now. No, it was incredible. I think they're two of the great light heavyweights of all time, I think they could have lived with anyone.
Where's Bivol in the pound for pound list? Just last one.
Four, probably four right now, and Beterbiev five, I'd say.
Okay, Gareth, thank you very much. I'll let you go. I'm sure we might have
Cool.
to catch up once more this week when we see carnage unfold between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr.
Get
And
up there and separate them. Go on,
well,
get in your car, do your 4 hour drive, get there in time, and get your muscular body in between them. Don't let them fight each other at the press conference.
they might bounce off me, but that's about it, Gareth. So thank you very much, G, and I will see you
Cheers.
soon.